Quick disclaimer, legends, this is a proper spit roast. We're going hard because this is comedy on the internet. Don't harass anyone, don't be a grub, we're just reacting.
Yeah, what he said.
Hello, I know I haven't uploaded in a while, but I feel like I need to finally speak out about the situation publicly. This video will mainly be a response to the claims made by Gwamgo, along with what I believe is hypocrisy in the way the situation was presented by him.
G'day, you fuckheads. Welcome back. Look, I'm not here to beat around the bush or hold anyone's hand. If you're here expecting another piece of drama farming content, or you want me to pick a side in this pathetic little playground spat between these two absolute deadbeats,
the first rule of Fight Club is, you do not talk about Fight Club. The second rule of Fight Club is, you do not talk about Fight Club.
What do you mean by that?
Daddy, chill.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
I could do this all
you've
day.
come to the wrong place.
I'm gonna fuck you up.
Good job!
We're going to strip back the context and the edgy teen excuses and look at the objective, legal reality of what these two have been doing. It's a mess, it's a failure, and quite frankly, it's a disgrace. Look, I'm going to be upfront with you, I don't give a fuck about the drama or the content. We watched the whole 35-minute video, and let me tell you, it could have been a 10-minute video. This is us being unbiased as fuck. We aren't picking a side because, quite frankly, they're both deadbeats. Alright, legends, settle in, grab a drink, because today my brain is officially bleeding. I have gazed into the abyss of internet drama, and the abyss looked back and asked me to subscribe and ring the bell.
I told you to stop watching Roblox commentary channels, mate. It rots the frontal lobe.
I can't look away, Bazza. It's a car crash, but the car is driven by a clown and it's crashing into a fireworks factory. Today, we need to talk about the absolute state of this Behind and Gwamgo situation. Because I have just sat through a 34-minute defense video from Delta that is so unbelievably cooked, I'm genuinely considering moving to the woods and throwing my router into a river. I'm putting this out there because I've been staring at these logs for hours and I've reached a breaking point. I'm speaking to anyone who has actually walked through the fire of real abuse because I need to know I'm not losing my mind. Look, I'm just a guy with a small channel. I'm not a professional investigator and I'm not backed by some massive production team. But I saw this video and something about it just didn't sit right with my gut. So I did what anyone with a brain should do. I pulled the footage, I got the raw files, and I started going frame by frame. And man, I'm glad I did. Because once you strip away the music, the dramatic pacing, and the victim aesthetic, you aren't looking at an expose anymore. You're looking at a carefully staged magic trick. He wants you to look at the grooming label. He wants you to see that word and immediately pivot to victim. But if you pause the video, actually pause it, and read the text for yourself, the illusion falls apart instantly. You see Michaela telling him, you should really take like thigh pics daily. And you see Delta's response, just for you? That isn't fear. That isn't a teenager recoiling from a predator. That is someone leaning into the dynamic. It's collaborative. But here is where you really need to do a double take. Look at how they talk about the accusations themselves. When Delta tells him, they're asking if you grooming me, Michaela doesn't get defensive and he doesn't get scared. He says, if anything, you grooming me, LMAO. They are laughing. They are treating a word that ruins lives, a word that is the absolute bedrock of child safety, like a punchline in a Discord server. Ask yourself, does that sound like a victim of abuse? Or does that sound like someone who knows exactly what he's doing and is just waiting for the right moment to weaponize his own history for clout? He is banking on your empathy. He is counting on you to be a decent person who gets angry at the thought of hoping that anger will blind you to the fact that the messages he showed you don't support his claim. He's betting that you won't notice the lack of context, the lack of age proof, and the obvious toxic mutual participation in the conversation. He's playing you. He's taking a situation that looks like a standard, edgy, toxic internet friendship and he's trying to rebrand it as a tragedy to save his own skin from a controversy he caused himself. I don't know who's guilty of what in their private lives, but I know a lie when I see one. And what he's selling here, it's a cheap, dishonest, and frankly dangerous performance. Go back. Watch it again.
I am currently 16. The majority of these messages come from a private Discord server called Planet Home, which was made up of teenagers around my age at the time. Edgy and offensive jokes were unfortunately very common in that server. Even the owner of the server, who right now works for Gwamgo, acknowledged this and described it as a teen server with edgy jokes.
Not this time, mate. Delta, you wanted this online? Congratulations, it's online, and it proved that your idea of a defense is just throwing up your hands and saying, the edgy Discord made me do it.
Because the way Gwamgo presented this with zero context creates a very different picture and a more extreme narrative of who I am. Now, his next claim is that I mocked Aham over the abuse from his uncle. From my understanding at the time, yes, Aham's uncle was in fact a However, the story Aham gave us was that when he was born, Aham's uncle was already a known
discussions about trafficking, grooming, and explicit content,
and what actually occurred.
Ignore his voiceover. Ignore his sad narrative. Just read the text and tell me, does that look like a victim, or does that look like a guy trying to trick you into defending him? Does this hit the tone you want? That, wait, let me rewatch that moment where the audience starts realizing the narrative is a lie. I'm saying this specifically for anyone watching who has actually lived through abuse. I know the kind of gut-wrenching feeling you get when you see someone weaponize your reality for clicks. If you've been in that position, you know that the truth doesn't look like a curated, edited, and edgy YouTube expose. It doesn't involve laughing about your own abuse in a Discord chat, and it certainly doesn't involve using the word grooming as a punchline. When you see a video like this, it's not just drama, it's a violation. It's an insult to everything you've survived. He's not asking for support, he's performing for an audience that doesn't know the difference between a real cry for help and a strategic PR move. He's taking the vocabulary of trauma, words that are supposed to signal danger and demand protection, and he's using them like cheap fireworks to make a bang. And the worst part, he's making the world more cynical. Because when he inevitably gets exposed for the fake, lazy, manipulative hack that he is, the public's capacity to believe the next person, the person who is actually hurting, the person who actually needs help, is going to be that much smaller. He's burning down the bridge that real victims need to cross to reach safety, all just to win an internet argument. So, to anyone who has been through this, your reaction is valid. You're not crazy for feeling disgusted. You're not being biased for seeing this as the predatory, manipulative farce that it is. You have the lived experience to spot the difference between a survivor and a grifter. And this is a grifter. He is lying. He is weaponizing your pain for his own agenda. And he is absolutely, unequivocally full of shit. They're counting on you to be a participant in their little theatre. They lay out these evidence boards, they use the right buzzwords, they manipulate the pacing so you feel that righteous anger bubbling up, and they want you to feel it. They want you to pick a side, because as soon as you do, you're just another brick in their wall. As soon as you start defending one of these two, you've stopped asking the one question that actually matters. Why am I watching this? Do you actually care about justice? Or have you just been conditioned to crave the next hit of dopamine from a 20-minute video that accomplishes absolutely nothing but making the world a slightly more toxic place? They're training you to ignore the total lack of real proof. They're training you to accept emotional truth, their version of reality, over actual, verifiable facts. It's a fucking experiment in how much bullshit you're willing to swallow as long as it's presented with enough edgy confidence. And if you're sitting there thinking, but wait, he made a good point about the contracts, or wait, the other guy definitely started it, then congratulations, you've been played. You're exactly where they want you. You're doing their PR work for them for free. It's time to stop thinking like a fan or a detractor and start thinking like a human being. Does a person who genuinely suffered grooming use that experience as a bargaining chip in a YouTube beef? Does a professional, victimized business owner surround himself with literal children? If you look at the screen and you don't feel a massive, heavy sense of disgust, you need to wake up. These people aren't your friends, they aren't your heroes, and they certainly aren't your truth tellers. They're two bottom feeders in an echo chamber, and the only reason they're still talking is because you're still listening. If they had actual proof, I'd be listening. But they don't. They have narratives. They have spin. They have a script designed to manipulate how you feel. And frankly, I've had enough of it. It's time to call this shit out for what it actually is. A hollow, toxic waste of everyone's time. And if that makes me a cunt, or biased, or whatever else they want to throw at me, fine. I don't give a shit. I'm just calling it like I see it, and what I see is pathetic. So, ask yourself, why are you giving them your time? Why are you letting them rent space in your head? Because the second you click off, the facade falls apart. There is no moral high ground here. There's just two people who would burn the whole internet down if it meant they got the last word. Don't be the fuel for their fire. Is his bullied story excuse the most cooked part, or is the whole thing just one big red flag? Drop your thoughts below. Smash like, subscribe for more savage roasts, and we'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe out there, don't be a manipulative e-cunt, and we'll see ya.
Shut up.
I got you, homie.
Let's go.